Woofer poofers. Dogs. Doggos. I cannot remember a time in my life when there was not a dog. Not only dogs that my family owned, but stray dogs would appear at the doorstep of my childhood home. There was this beagle mutt who we didn't know the name of. He was the person down our street's dog they locked out of their house during the day. My mom called him Tripod because the poor little fella only had 3 legs. During thunderstorms, he'd for some reason hobble all the way down our stretch of country road and he'd hide in our garage. We had a door we kept open he could get through. He'd be shaking and shivering, and I remember I'd find him in the garage almost brought to the point of tears because of how sad and pathetic he was. I'd pet him and hug him and he seemed to be comforted by it. I wished he was our dog, and he's always had a special place in my heart. We had a Keeshond named Elmo, and a stray pug we took in named Daisy. I do not remember much about these dogs, but they were there before I was born. My only known interaction with Elmo was that my mom told me I liked to put on his tail. Originally, the dogs were indoor pets, but they were moved outside due to circumstances, I guess. They got to roam out in a big backyard, and they seemed like pretty happy dogs that kept each other company, despite this. When my parents took Daisy to the vet for the first time, they estimated she was around 15 years old. So if they were correct, she lived to her mid-20s in human years. Every time you'd pick her up, she'd go and you'd put her back down because you felt bad and were honestly a little terrified. Even when she walked, she'd be struggling to breathe. She had a lot of fat rolls around her neck, which were cute, but probably stifled her breathing significantly. The only thing that I remember about Elmo is that he died on Christmas, so that was depressing to say the least. After this, my mom didn't want any more dogs, but my dad has a weird thing where he still lives life like he's back on his farm when he was a child, and he always has to have a dog or replace one that dies, even though he treats pets more like tools than animals. My mom felt bad because she also didn't want another dog to live outside, but against my mom's wishes, which was a common theme in our household, my dad came home with Casey, who me and my brother later nicknamed Bubby. My brother and I pretty much only called him Bubby after this. Bubby was a blessing and a very sweet black lab terrier mix with high energy. While he was very sweet, he had a destructive and impulsive side as well, which got him into trouble frequently. He also had a chomp in his right ear. I'm not sure what it was from, but it did give him some personality. My brother and I loved Bubby with all of our hearts. After we had a house fire, which I made a video detailing my experience of, if you want to go check it out, Daisy died 1 month after. Probably because of the smoke inhalation on top of her old age. But Bubby was a young dog who persevered. After the house fire, Bubby had to stay at the house. We moved into a pet-free apartment nearby, so my parents kept him at the house while it was being rebuilt. Kind of a little bit of a weird situation. Anyways though, my mom would come by every single day to check on him and to give him food and water. How he didn't just wander off was because he wore a shock collar that prevented him from leaving the premises, which I would not put a shock collar on a dog now. I think they're inhumane. Just putting that out there. One time, these construction guys that were working on rebuilding our house shot him in one of the rooms while they were working. He had been left there for a day and forgotten about. When my mom stopped by to do her daily check-in on him, she found he had tried eating a hole in the wall to escape. Another time, my mom shows up to refill his food and water. She looks all over for him and can't find him. She realizes that Bubby is gone. Later that day, she breaks the news to my brother and I that Bubby is missing. My brother and I cried and prayed that Bubby was okay and that he would come back.
Huh? Bobby, go home.
Well, weeks later, my mom stopped at the house with us for whatever reason, and we were just starting to accept that Bubby was gone for good. Shortly after we left, as we approached the stop sign at the end of our street, we saw a black animal casually walking down the middle of the road. Is that? It's Bubby! Bubby had been missing for 2 weeks. Just seeing him was a miracle and a sight to behold. There were leaves and mud all over him, and he smelled like some sort of fungus and poo, but we didn't care and were ecstatic that he was alive. My mom shoved him into the van, and we snuck him into the apartment for a couple days and cleaned him up and fed him. After the fire, we moved back into our rebuilt house. Years after this, a stray cat shows up on our property. My dad liked to bring around cats because he believed that a cat would solve our mouse problems. I remember we were out on the back patio one day and he was luring this long-haired little cat that was white and had black spots. My brother and I were oohing and awing, but my mom looked awfully suspicious because he was trying to lure it in with a chicken wing. I also loved cats, but my mom was allergic, so we weren't allowed to have them in the house. The first cat I remember we took care of was a stray cat my mom named Columbia. She'd hang out on our front windowsill. Eventually, she would disappear one day, like many other cats that would show up at our house, unfortunately. My mom lost the battle with my dad, and we took the cat in and named him Twinkie. Well, Twinkie and Bubby ended up becoming best friends. More than best friends, actually. Instead of Bubby's girlfriend, this ratty carpet he liked to ferociously hump multiple times a day, his new lover was Twinkie. And well, instead of the carpet, you'd sometimes catch a glimpse out the window of Bubby now loving on Twinkie instead of the carpet. Weirdly, Twinkie didn't seem to mind. Not only that, they liked playing together, and during cold winter nights, they would sleep in this dull banana box together, which was lined with blankets, that Bubby would drag into the box, out in the garage. And it was the most precious thing I think I might have ever seen. My mom eventually allowed Bubby to be an indoor dog. We were sometimes allowed to let Twinkie in the house periodically too. But now that I think about it, I feel bad because Twinkie lost his lover, and he had to sleep out there all by himself. We did get his own little cat bed tree for him to sleep in though. My brother gave Bubby the nickname the Hunger Dog because he would eat anything in his line of vision. Bubby would even do speed runs where my mom would be tucking us in for bed and he'd pull a loaf of bread off the counter and gobble it down as fast as he could. His hunger was like an endless void, which gave him other titles such as Hoover. He was a very lean dog though, because of his constant banana energy. One time, we had some family over for a celebration. My mom ordered these 3-inch Subway subs that were specifically for catering to parties. Where's my sandwich? I know I put it over here. Soon enough, multiple people started to realize that subs were disappearing indoors and outdoors because the party was kind of taking place in both spheres. That's when we caught him right in the middle of the act. He sneaks his snoot over a table and grabs a sub. It goes flying all over the patio and he's sucking these 3-inch subs down like the Hoover vacuum he is. He probably ate a total of 4 Subway foot-long sandwiches that day. After that, he does his banana runs around the yard, then he pulls out his girlfriend and puts on a show for everyone. Most of my family was giggling and thought it was funny. Another time my mom put down a bowl of gravy for him to eat. It was pretty hot and my mom thought he'd be smart enough to wait. Well, he did, but he got so frustrated, he started barking at the bowl of gravy until it cooled down. Come up here. So yeah, that was one of my childhood dogs, Bubby. I was going to originally make this include all the dogs in my life, but I realized I had way too many stories for each dog and it was getting too long, so I'm gonna have to split this into multiple parts. The next dog I'll talk about will be my current dog. You might have seen some art of him in the little birthday hat if you're subscribed to my channel. Anyways, see you guys all in the next video. Can't wait to keep giving you more. Peace.